This is the sink that I'm going to install in the countertop that we're going to build. Got this on Amazon. It's right around $80. Came with the template, all the mounting hardware. All the mounting hardware. And a really nice strainer. Really nice strainer. I have to build the mold and pour the concrete. That's going to be my plan for today. So let's get started with that. Okay, to get started, we're going to be building the mold for the countertop that I'm going to make out of concrete. That's going to involve cutting this sheet of MDF and then laminating it with some old leftover high pressure laminate that I have just laying around. So I'm going to get started cutting out the dimensions of the sink countertop, and then we'll cut the laminate and use some contact adhesive to adhere it to the MDF. So let's get started with that. So you want to wipe it down, get any contaminants off the laminate. Same thing with the wood. Want it to adhere very well. So what I'm going to use on this is this 3M number 90 contact adhesive. This is a good, quick, easy way to use contact adhesive in the spray form rather than rolling it out from the can. This is a little bit more money, but it's definitely a lot faster. And you have to, this has to flash before you can put the two pieces together. So you have to read the instructions. Basically, if you can touch the glue and it doesn't stick to your fingers, then it's ready to go. Once you bond the two surfaces together, that's it. You can't take it apart. I'm not going to go crazy with this. This is just a mold. It's sort of a throwaway piece. I don't anticipate having to make another exact part. The only reason that I would need to make another part would be because I broke the other, broke the concrete mold or whatever. I'm just going to hope that this gives me what I need. Okay, now that both parts have been sprayed with the contact adhesive, just want to go over one other thing here, and that's when you're done using this stuff, I didn't even use 1/8 of this can on these two pieces, but you want to clean this nozzle if you want to use this again. Otherwise, it's not going to give you the same spray pattern that this gave with the fan spray. And this only sticks to itself. So if you don't have glue on one part or the other part, it's not going to stick to that. So the critical areas that you want to deal with are going to be the edges on this. That's where the stuff will come up. One other thing, most people cut out the parts and then laminate each individual part and then trim the excess with a router. In this case, I'm going to laminate the entire sheet and then cut it with my track saw over there. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I'm confident that that machine will not chip out the laminate. That's going to leave a perfect cut. And if I'm wrong, well, we'll find out. But I'm confident that it's going to work exactly as I intended to. And not only that, a lot of people that do these concrete molds, they use melamine, which is it's pretty expensive, and you know, kind of once you use it, you throw it away. And since I've got this stuff just occupying space in my garage, never going to be used again, I'm going to use it for this purpose, and it's probably, in fact, more than likely it'll be reusable. Okay, this glue is just about ready. And like I said before, these will not stick. So we're going to use these as spacers to pre-position the laminate. You don't want the laminate to touch until it's ready to touch, because you're never going to get it up to reposition it. The other thing you want to have is a J-roller, a rubber J-roller. This ensures the correct amount of pressure and location of the pressure to make the laminate adhere. So one more test to see that all the areas are ready to go, and then we're going to put it into effect here. All right, here we go. Sorry for the bad camera angle if I'm in the way, but the one way I know to do this best, position this out the best, is to start in the middle. Start in the middle. Come out. Nobody uses laminate anymore. I mean, it's either granite or solid surface countertops, but if you were going to do a project with laminate, I mean, this is how you'd do it. This is just a quick mold for some concrete, but it's on there solid. Now, if I was going to make this a finished piece for a countertop, I would use a flush trim router bit and trim off what's hanging over here, but since this is just going to be for the concrete mold, I'm going to leave it just as is. I just got to be careful of these corners here. They're razor sharp, and you could get cut on those. All four sides of the mold have been cut out. These are the two short sides, and these are the two long sides. I'm going to cut them to length on the chop saw, and then we'll get them screwed into place on top of the, well, this is actually going to be the face of the mold. This is the template that comes with the sink, and you can see that the lines are embossed in the cardboard here. So what I'll do is I'll line this up with my layout lines here, and I'll be able to perfectly center this on the mold, and then I'll build it up with the foam board over there that you see. I'll cut that up to this shape. Okay, so off camera I got the pocket holes drilled. I'm going to use these panhead screws. They're going to go in here like this. I'm going to pre-drill so I don't force the material to separate the two pieces. Another tip is when you drill your pocket holes here, it's going to want to push the MDF out, and that will cause this surface to not be flat. So what I've used is a countersink bit to countersink that hole, which then will not deflect any of the MDF material onto the surface, which would cause a misalignment or there to be a gap. I'm just going to drill through the surface of the laminate. Pre-drilling these pocket holes, they have a tendency to want to move as the screw drills itself into the material. So pre-drilling enables that to stay nice and straight and tight. I want this mold to come apart. That's why there's not going to be any glue in here. This is where having the clamps in place, and a lot of them, helps pay off. Because remember, all the effort that we put into this part of it is going to mean a much better result and a much better finish on the concrete. So it'll take your time and get these as straight and watertight as possible. The concrete's going to be pretty wet, and because it's going to be kind of a self-leveling concrete. So everything that you can do at this point to make sure that it's square and plumb is going to pay off. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm coating the edge of this MDF with some waterproof glue. This is going to help keep the water from the concrete from lapping over the edge here when we screed it off, causing this to swell. And once this swells, it's going to deform the mold.
Using the packing tape seals up the voids on the edge and smooths out the surface. It makes removing it from the mold a lot easier also. Okay, I want to be able to take this piece of foam out of the mold, so one of the things I'm going to do is use hot glue, and that should ensure removal of this piece. And I'm using silicone adhesive caulking here. That's going to radius the corners and seal the mold from any of the wet concrete from making its way underneath and contaminating the MDF.
Okay, it's all ready to have the concrete poured in here. This caulking and everything has to dry. So tomorrow, first thing in the morning, I'm going to get started with the concrete pour. And there'll be some rebar that goes in here for added strength. But I should be able to get it poured out tomorrow, and I'll probably take it out of the mold sometime this week. So tomorrow's Sunday. I'm going to say Tuesday or Wednesday I'll take it out of the mold. Okay, I've got the mold all prepared. I've got the knockouts for the stems on the faucet. I'm going to fit down in there. All of this will be removed once the concrete dries, as well as this. So I'm going to wax the mold with some regular paste wax to act as a release agent, and then I'm going to get started pouring the concrete. Let's see how this goes. It's going to be my first time doing this. I'm not really sure how it's going to turn out, but if you don't try, you never know. Okay, so here's my assessment of this Quickcrete countertop concrete material. It's a little deceiving as far as how wet you have to get it so that it flows, but it seems to set up pretty quick, and it also seems to be have a very plastic consistency, kind of almost like a glue. But for the most part, I think it's going to work out okay. I don't see any bubbles. I did vibrate it a little bit with the sander, but we're just going to let it cure out, and hopefully we have a good finished product. So that's all I know for now, and we'll check back here in the next day or so when this thing cures out.